Hi, Gemini. Thank you for revisiting and welcome to new viewers. And thank you so much for your patience as this particular Mercury retrograde has really disrupted my schedule with an emergency family trip, my computer crashing, and me losing all the material and having to rewrite everything, and tech and internet issues on top of that while I'm here away from home. But I do hope it's been treating you a little bit better. And maybe ditching the AI voice during this Mercury retrograde wasn't a great idea because it takes much longer recording my own voice. And with all the disruptions I've had to deal with and this late upload. But I wanted to stick to my promise in August of using my voice and making it a little bit more personable. Anyway, I'll stop whining and get straight into this. In this video, Gemini, I will give you your main theme of September. Then I will summarize some of September's major planetary dynamics and how that may affect you. I'll do a quick revisit of a couple of astrological events in the past since we have retrograde planets and repeating aspects. And finally, a couple of things to look forward to, specifically in the new year, but they're major. First, and in general, September has a theme. I've named it, I've titled it September is the month of hurry up and wait. It is very similar to August's laid back approach, mainly because we have six planets in retrograde, inclusive of a seventh minor body of Chiron. But I will touch on this list later, this retrograde list later. Gemini, your phone calls, texts, emails, conversations, and focus is regarding your fourth house of home, parents, parenting, family, property, your apartment, mortgage, land, and patriotism. I know it's a long list, but that's what you're focusing on right now. Well, since it is Virgo and Virgo is detailed, you can throw in your siblings and extended family too. And the sun is in Virgo, shining a spotlight now on your family and your family relations. So it's on full display. Most of you have Cancer factors, and Cancer rules the family natally. So anything that goes public regarding your family that is not supposed to, especially let's say between your mother or others, or your spice and I'm sorry, spice, your spouse and your mother, yeah, or your spouse and others, you you take it personally. It's a sensitive thing. Most of you also have unexpected family from a distance visiting and staying with you around this time. I don't know why, but it seems to be a Gemini thing. Family visiting around this time. Um, so it is also unusually busy with errands and particularly like, let's say, grocery food shopping or sun-dry essentials, because somebody always forgets their toothpaste, charger, or extra slippers are needed around the house. So you have a lot going on with home and family, your mortgage, or a purchase of a property or land, and people visiting and going here and there. You are ruled by the planet Mercury, so when Mercury spins its wheels, so do you. On top of this particular Mercury retrograde, being personal for you because the fourth house of home and family being busy this year, it is personal because the fourth house is a psychologically heavy personal house. Even though you are used to the retrograde energy and are usually in the know, even with retrogrades. After all, you are called the harmless trickster of the zodiac, sometimes withholding information and even switching it around just for fun. And you are in the know because you are the messenger of the gods. But this particular Mercury retrograde has been chaotic, even for you, with everyone and their mother tugging at you, mail getting stuck, um, wrong texts going to wrong people, renovations not finishing on time, issues with the mortgage or the bank, or a move on your mind. Um, because a lot of you are also wanting to move, or yeah, or maybe the family is splitting up. Maybe you were staying with your parents and you're getting your own place, but there's a move on your mind or in the works. Well, hold on to all these brain farts that you're having, these issues that you're having, because um, it gets worse before it'll get better. Well, not really worse, but things may change again. Um, Even when Mercury stations direct mid-month, your alternate plans will need another alternate plan until the end of the month, because Mercury will not clear from its shadow retrograde until then, even though it's moving direct. So give yourself time and space and afford the same to all those family related people, activities, visitors, and things. If you have any Virgo degrees, then um, something also behind the scenes regarding your communications and commuting and neighborhood, quick trips was also going on. Some kind of secret, which may have even involved money. And for a sliver of you, dare I say, a sight fling affair, or someone even popping up from the past for one more row. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, that could have happened. Or like I said, because you want to do a move, something with the property. um, Maybe you were doing something behind the scenes regarding that. Only you know what it is about. But because Geminis are famous for being, flighty and saying things that others want to hear instead of what needs to be said. Because you're really nice and you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. A harmless conversation can quickly lead into a he said, she said. So just a word of caution, especially for the attached Geminis. And not that I'm not giving up on this, but I will talk about it a little bit later. Anyway, we'll move on to a beautiful new Virgo moon coming up on the 14th, which again is your fourth house of home and family. Set your intentions and plant the seeds of a specific thing, because Virgo is all about details and specificity. You want to achieve by next year's same time regarding your home and family. Or if an opportunity regarding your home and family presents itself on or about the 14th, you'll know to seize it. And but like I told you, Mercury's still in retrograde, so um, yes, seize it, um, nurture it, because there's another piece of information that will come at the end of the month. Because this new moon Virgo, is in Virgo, it is somewhat of a life changer in some way for you, Gemini. Uh, why? Because if you are looking to move or move away, this new moon can help. If you don't want changes regarding your home and family, but your partner or family does, then pay attention to the details of the conversations and or agreements that is being talked about regarding these areas. The other thing is uh, why I'm saying it could be life changing. If you're old enough, every so many years, the Virgo new moon brings in a change in your home and family area of your life. Um, and there's There's a learning process as well involved, but it brings in a big change where it can be life altering. And especially if in the same year the outer planets change signs like they did earlier this year, namely Pluto and Uranus change signs. And since the North and South node just kicked into Aries and Libra respectively, the nodes too are bringing back karma from 18, 19 years ago. So maybe think back to 2010, 2011's, or I don't know if it was 2012, Virgo new moon, and the change that that brought to your home and family life to this day. It was pretty significant then, and this new moon is just as powerful. And anything new or a change will reverberate through the future too regarding this new moon. The only other thing to note here is just be on top of any health issues regarding the fourth house, because Virgo natally does rule the house of health, medicine, diseases, and doctors too. So if you yourself are stressing about home and family, about this move, about the mortgage, about visitors, or whatever, then take care of your own health and your psyche. Uh, because Virgo says both have to be in working order, otherwise, one fails, the other cannot pick up the slack. Regarding both, when I say both, I mean health, your body and mind. They both have to be in working order. And since the Geminis have really had some heavy stuff going on for the past, couple of years, but even older Geminis, um, they've gone through a lot of stress. So take care of that. If health issues are extending to the others in your home and family, you'll know the culprit is the Virgo. Anyway, by the end of the month, the full story here will be complete and issues should conclude and start smoothing out as Venus will finally leave Leo alone and go into Virgo. So it'll start blessing um, your home and family house and any health issues. So, patience, my friends, the universe still operates on its own time and not the on demand New York minute time we have enslaved ourselves to. Okay, now let us get back to your third house of your need to be heard, seen, and spoken. So, the house of communication, communication tools, social network, social media, commuting, like quick or nearby trips, siblings, the neighborhood, and neighbors. But as in Jason Aldean's controversial song, and I'm doing quotes now, air quotes, try that in a small town neighborhood. Meaning, even if you are living in a big city, the neighborhood in the third house is like your guys's turf. The building you live in is like your turf, the block or what have you. Okay, so Leo rules your third house, um, and Venus entered Leo in July, but stationed retrograde and went backwards. And as of last week, on the third of this month, Venus stationed direct and started moving forward in Leo. Now, Leo is a magnanimous sign and a father figure, ruling the fifth house of love, children, romance, creativity, pets, and gambling natally. But it is your third house of commuting and communication. Venus rules love, beauty, women mostly, and lovers, or mother and sons, mother in laws, money, attraction, and goodwill. And as a side note, Leo somehow had a lot of money around them during July and August, but that'll be It's a side note, but I'll explain why I mentioned it. Excuse me. When Venus goes retrograde, she also brings back people from the past, partners from the past, lovers from the past. Venus rules the zodiac signs of Taurus and Libra. For you, Taurus is your 12th house of secrets, your hidden self, behind the scenes, the past, and self undoing. And Libra is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, and pets and gambling. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have any Virgo degrees, then something was being done in secret or behind the scenes regarding your quick trips, neighborhood, communication, social media, etc. Plus, Pluto is also in retrograde in Capricorn, your house of sex, death, and taxes. And the north and south nodes are in karmic energy from 18 years ago. Um, Here, I broke it down so you can get a picture of the picture I'm seeing in astrology. For the Geminis who are not entertaining a side fling or an affair or a, past lover, this is all regarding your or other people's children um, that you take care of, or that maybe your nieces and nephews are you'll be taking care of, or it can be your pets, and for some of you, it can be regarding your gambling habits, or taking chances, gambling on things, or recreation, or creativity if you're an instructor or teacher. So creative ideas. However, for the Geminis who are attached and are in a triangle situation or a past lover popped up, this relates to the discussion in July, August, and the story continues this month. Now that Venus has stationed direct and will be less demanding, fussy, and uh, bitchy, no other way to put it, these issues will start to smooth out. If you had any issues, well, if you're in a triangle affair, there's issues. Um, but it will still be a very slow process. Why? Because Venus only stationed direct on the third and is moving very, very slowly. So it's still considered in its retrograde shadow. So final decisions are, alas, not final. Attitudes are still tender, and there may be one or more spat, review, or need for resolution by the end of the month and into early October, when Venus will start behaving herself, behaving like her amorous, dignified self again. So, still be on guard and have patience regarding your fifth house until October. Only disclosure is be careful of your secrets. They never stay secret in your 12th house. Only your hidden self stays that way because no one can control that. But anyone associated with your hidden self will be outed. So the situation comes out. Okay, on to Pluto. I'm mentioning Pluto because there is an aspect and a theme regarding Pluto and Capricorn this month. And I did mention Pluto is in retrograde in Capricorn. And some people say, "Oh, it's retrograde. It's going to be an easy ride. It's easy." Um, but sometimes when planets are retrograde, excuse me, they can be even more powerful because they're not skimming the surface, but digging in and under. And simply because there is unfinished business from the first go around or loose ends to be tied up. So, yes, it can be an easy ride if you've learned the lessons of that chapter. You've heeded Pluto's advice, and you're on the straight and narrow. But if you're not, then a retrograde can be even more difficult because Pluto checks what's under the hood. Okay, for you, Gemini, Capricorn, is your eighth house of sex, death, and taxes. Um, that's a title we just give that house, but sex means intimacy, but true intimacy. And Geminis don't really do intimacy. They like to keep it nice and airy. But this house is about true intimacy. Death, no astrologer can predict literal death. This house can be the house of literal death, but no astrologer can predict it. So here, I'm really referring to um, it's allegorical to like an ending and a new beginning, but a true transformation, as in the phoenix rising from the ashes. And taxes, we're talking about the eighth house is the house that of money that you benefit from others. So your partner's income, um, legacies, inheritance, lump sums of money, gifts. It can be even, tax returns and what have you. But money and when I say your partner's income, it doesn't necessarily have to be your marriage partner. I mean, it is, but it doesn't necessarily have. It can partners can also be business partners or um, for Geminis, most of them do have cancer factors, and cancer represents the mother, so it can be maybe your your mother's income you're handling and you're benefiting in some way or something like that. Um, and Pluto is all about power, control, and the fear that comes along with that, either of stepping into your power or the power that is coming at you. Capricorn is all about steadfast, reliable, prestige, old money, government, authority, and slow and steady wins the race. So it's traditional about, work really hard and it always pays off. Pluto has been in Capricorn for 15 years now, so you are already used to this energy. But, and a giant but it's a good but, don't worry. Late last year, December through to March, April this year, something surprising or maybe even jolting, um, some kind of electrical shift happened where whatever was repetitive, controlling, or constraining regarding your ninth house suddenly became not so, or some kind of shift in, I'm sorry, ninth house, I meant your eighth house, or some kind of shift regarding uh, power and control in the eighth house. So maybe promotions, demotions, lateral shifts, or people retired, or they moved, or they simply disappeared and freed you and others from any constraints or fears regarding sex, death, and taxes. Maybe it's about a will or inheritance. And since Pluto transits are life altering and transformative, people usually feel a rebirth and they become experts also. That's another note of Pluto transits. They become experts in the area affected by a Pluto transit. Something like the student surpasses his professor, if that makes sense. Sorry about that. So, when this shift and reshufflement happened in your eighth house, you felt some unexpected relief, maybe, um, or not. But you felt confident enough to volunteer to guide and mentor others regarding things in the eighth house when that position freed up for some reason. In any case, the dynamics, arguments, agreements, and information that occurred between December last year and March, April of this year regarding sex, death, and houses, regarding your eighth house, the consequences of what was said and done are reverberating somehow this month. Um, Plus, there is an aspect to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn also this month, but I will discuss that when I go through your September lineup. Okay, and also I wanted to mention you have Uranus in Taurus, so your 12th house of secrets and spirituality, um, behind the scenes, the past, self undoing, confining spaces like hospitals and prisons. Um, yeah, just be careful because Uranus is retrograde, and it is lying in wait. If there's any planet I fear, it's Uranus. Um, but yeah, the sliver of you that have something going on in secret, be above board and keep your secrets kosher. Try to stay above reproach, but you will be dealing with that. Okay, enough of secrets and warnings. Let us move on. Well, first, I'm going to discuss the retrograde planets, and let me set that up. Okay, our retrograde planets. We have both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces retrograde. Saturn, well, Pisces is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, unpaid or charitable work, and also authority figures. Um, Saturn is the master disciplinary. He's the master teacher. He's strict. And Saturn's rings are the guardrails, so to speak. And he teaches lessons. Neptune is the master of illusion, um, idealism, artistry. He rules fog, the ocean, cosmetics, alcohol, narcotics, and like hospitals and dreams and intuitions, and perfumes and things like that. And Pisces are the two fish that swim opposite each other. Uh, so Neptune and Pisces are a match made in heaven. Um, Neptune is very strong in Pisces. So, what does this all mean? So, something about your 10th house of career status, reputation, unpaid or charitable work, and even authority figures has been some sort of an escape for you, um, escape from reality, or you see your career or status or reputation or even authority figures you deal with. You see them, you idolize them, you make it an idealistic scenario, and it's a feel good. Most of the time, it's a feel good house. And Neptune entered Pisces back in Valentine's Day 2012. Valentine's tells you a lot, Neptune and Pisces. But the universe, the God, and all its wisdom has sent in Saturn in Pisces to throw off alarm clocks and put up guardrails and and pull you back into reality. Because sometimes when you start to daydream, sometimes I love to daydream and idolize things, but uh, sometimes when we go into this nether world, it's super hard to find our way back for some of us, and especially if there's alcohol involved or drugs or whatever. Excuse me. So Saturn is here to make sure you do come back to reality so that you don't go off the edge and all of that. So yeah, the last 4 or 5 months since Saturn entered Pisces, and whatever Neptune has been doing in Pisces will be up for review for you, so that you can spot the danger signs, and you'll learn a little bit more on how to put up boundaries and pull yourself back. So those are retrograde, and you will be experience a repeat of those things. Pluto is in Capricorn retrograde, and I went into length about that as well. So that's retrograde. Uranus in Taurus. So your 12th house of secrets and behind the scenes. Um, this area, since it's Uranus, it's like a jolting, shocking, jarring, surprise, um, or shift or movement in your 12th house. It can be about secrets being revealed, what's going on behind the scenes, but they're revealed in shocking, surprising ways. I told you I fear Uranus. You don't know how much I fear Uranus. But I mean, the planets don't hate us. Uranus has its purpose of shocking and surprising us in that way. But it can also be uh, you you change spiritually, like you are into you really get into God, or you give up God, or whatever it is. It can be that. And your psyche is like your emotional, um, your psychological philosophy in life. So Uranus being here, that could throw you aha moments, like, oh my gosh, you realize things, because Uranus is the genius of the zodiac, very futuristic and forward thinking. It is also the house of hidden enemies. Um, so I don't know. Maybe Uranus will send you genius enemies. I don't know, to keep you on your toes. But in any case, Uranus is in Taurus, and you've been experiencing that since April, and now it has stopped and it's going retrograde. Mercury in Virgo is retrograde. We've discussed that, and it is regarding your fourth house of home and family. And then the minor planet of Chiron, or body of Chiron, in Aries. Aries is your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, group of friends, your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Um, the 11th house and Aries. So, yeah, you have like really fiery friends. Uh, but sparring friends. In any case, the one thing I wanted to say about retrograde planets is, please, please pay attention to when they station. So either when they station to go retrograde or station to go direct. So the day before, the day of, the day after, uh, because their their vibration is super strong. It, it can be super strong then when they're stationed. Um, and whatever information or dynamic is at play reverberates throughout time. So it'll be like, oh, yeah, it was that day that I found out this, or oh, it was that day that changed my mind. So always pay attention to the days, the planets station, especially these heavy hitters like Saturn, Neptune, Pluto. Oh my gosh. Scary Uranus. Anyway, um, yeah, I mentioned Chiron. Chiron is he's called the wounded healer, but he was also a teacher, um, a very kind and passionate teacher. He is also known as the Maverick in Zodiac. Um, Not a lot of people know that. Okay, so we're done with retrograde planets. Let's finally go through your September lineup, and it'll go fast because I've done my monologue on most of it. So on the 3rd of September, yes, I told you Venus did station direct in Leo, and Leo again is your third house of communication, commuting, siblings, neighborhood, and the spoken word. Uh, Venus was at 12 degrees and Leo at 13. On the 4th, the next day, Jupiter, this time stationed retrograde in Taurus. And that is your 12th house of secrets behind the scenes and what have you. Now, since April, this house has lit up for you because Jupiter expands everything it touches, whether good or bad. And I'm doing quotes again, air quotes again, because there's nothing really bad in astrology. Uh, it's I forget that word. It's it's to your benefit. So since April, something about this house has been expanding, and you've been busy about if it is something bad, because Jupiter usually is a benefic planet. It's a it's a jolly good uh, giant. It's a planet that benefits us. But if there is a bad issue, Jupiter will expand it so that it can be resolved and taken care of. Um, if again, if there's like something that's not kosher happening behind the scenes, it is going to out it or expand it so that it'll save you headache in the future. Anyway, it's starting to go retrograde, and you're going to visit this chapter. And when it goes direct, you'll either nix the things that you became aware of and cautious of, or you'll make changes. The same day, Mercury in Virgo, that's your fourth house of home and family, trined. This is a good aspect, a soft and pleasing aspect. Jupiter in Taurus, your 12th house of secrets and spirituality. So this happened the second time. And the first time it happened, it was on August 9th. So go back to August 9th, and you'll actually maybe have a clue of what was said or done. I always tell people to go through their emails, phone calls, um, and it'll trigger a memory because this is the second time it's happening, and it'll happen once again later on in the month. We'll discuss that. So some information regarding your fourth house, your giving good information to your 12th house of secrets. And I think I mentioned this in the monologue. It might be that you want to move out from your parents, maybe, and they don't know. um, so that's why the house of secrets is there. Or it could be you're surprising your family with a new house, something like that. That could be one scenario. So, yesterday or the day before, on the 8th, the sun this time shined a spotlight on your fourth house of home and family. Um, while it was doing that, it actually gave a good energy boost to um, Jupiter and Taurus, your 12th house. So, on the 4th, you got the information, the news, the good news, helping your house of secrets. And on the 8th, the sun is saying, well, are you happy with that information? What are you going to do about it? But it's good information to your 12th house. I usually don't mention small bodies like this, but I do when they're at 00 because they're significant. And some of you might have 00 degrees. So Pallas enters Libra on the 13th. Libra is your fifth house of love, romance, children, pets and gambling. On the same day, Vesta enters nurturing and nourishing Cancer, your second house of job, income, and your value system. On the 14th, the next day, ta-da! Here's the new powerful moon I was talking about in Virgo, and that is your fourth house of home and family at 21 degrees. So set your intentions and try to be specific. Um, or if the opportunity presents itself, seize it. But again, like I told you, Mercury is retrograde till the end of the month. So finalities will be the end of the month. On the 15th, another minor body series, the master negotiator and of compromises, enters Scorpio. And that is your sixth house of health, habits, routine, scheduling, service to others, and gossip. And that's at 00. Okay, on the same day, Mercury in Virgo finally stations direct in your fourth house at 8 degrees. So, like I told you, on the 15th or the 14th or the 16th, pay attention to the information or news you're getting regarding your fourth house of home and family. This is the day you pay attention because it's stationing, so it'll reverberate through time, whatever this is. On the 17th of September, Venus in Leo, so your third house of communication, squares. This is a hard aspect. Jupiter in Taurus, that's your 12th house of secrets and spirituality. And it'll be for the third time and final time. So here we go. This is the first time it happened, it was June 11th. And then the second time happened, it was towards the end of August, on the August 22nd. So if you want to know what it's about, yeah, look up these dates, text, phone calls, and emails, and you'll have a clue on what it's about. Now, squares and oppositions, a lot of people hate and are fearful of. But I actually really like, especially squares and oppositions, out of all the tense hard aspects, because squares, if anything, is a juggernauts, or it's an lock and won't move forward, is stagnant. It jumpstarts it. It jumpstarts the conversation or the dynamic so that it's out of deadlock. So it's very beneficial. So do not fear squares. And oppositions also, I believe, are very good, because one thing opposes the other, but the opposition, the dynamic, the planets behind these oppositions, um, bring these oppositions to a head, so that something moves, either or. It moves, it doesn't stagnate. So on the 19th, the sun in Virgo, something about your family that's in the spotlight, will oppose Neptune in Pisces. So your career, your status, your reputation, or any unpaid work, charitable work, and maybe even authority figures. I don't know what's jiving here. It can be a whole myriad of scenarios, but suffice to say, something about your home and family is not sitting well about your career and status. So see what that is, but it's Virgo. It's doing the opposings, and like I told you, Mercury will go direct towards, full out of shadow, direct towards the end of the month. So whatever opposition here should be smoothed out then too. Neptune in Pisces is going backwards, retrograding also. On the 21st, the sun in Virgo, again, the spotlight on your home and family, is giving a good aspect, this trining Pluto this time in Capricorn. So your eighth house of sex, death, and taxes, legacies, other people's money, inheritance, gifts, and what have you. So something, maybe money from your family, um, maybe an inheritance, maybe a down payment for a house. I don't know, but this is a very good aspect. And also, trines are soft aspects. So not all of you may feel this, um, but I think most of you will, because it's Pluto, and Pluto is a powerhouse. So, yeah. On the 23rd, the sun enters Libra like it does every time this year. And that is your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. So your mind will be occupied about all these things. It'll be at 00. And on the 25th, Mercury in Virgo. Oh, this is the third time. So information about your fourth house of home and family, trines something regarding your house of secrets and spirituality for the third and final time. So remember, the first time was August 9th. Second time is on the 4th. I don't think I mentioned this before. Second time is on the 4th, and this is the third and final time. So if you want to know what it is specifically about, look up these dates and you'll have a clue. On the 29th, the final Big Bang of September is the full moon in Aries. Aries for you, Gemini, is your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, group of friends, hopes, wishes, and dreams. At 6 degrees this full moon. And this full moon does have quite a few, well, not a lot, but it has some hard aspects. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This has some ending theme, like ending theme. Or it can be, I mean, if you have 6 degrees of Aries, it will impact you definitely. But um, it can also be, a full moon can also be the culmination or the fruition of your past efforts in this house. So look to that. Okay, I have to stop it once again because I have to change notes. Okay, so that ends up September. Just a quick note, as I promised, on the two good, excuse me, good aspects that are coming up in the new year. So first one is Jupiter turns direct in Taurus in your 12th house of secrets and spirituality in January. And when it does, it will trine Pluto in Capricorn, your 8th house of sex, death, and taxes. So it can be a lot of things, but it and trines are soft aspects, like I said. But I think most of you guys will feel this because this aspect and the other one that I'll talk about jumped out at me. And Jupiter is a powerhouse, and no less than Pluto is as well. So maybe something in secret, maybe something about your past that is getting a good vibe from intimacy, legacy, inheritance, your partner's income, but very good here. So you guys have to let me know what it is. Comment what it is or what you think it is. Uh, but yes, you're going to have that very good aspect happening, and it is also setting up on the second exciting note that I wanted to mention, which is in May, and this is big too. This will be Jupiter in Taurus will trine Uranus in Taurus. Again, both are your 12th house of secrets and spirituality and behind the scenes in the past. So this trine, I mean, Jupiter expands everything, and Uranus does it in a jarring, surprising way, electrical way, a shocking way. So, something about your 12th house that has been expanding, that you've been working on, will give a good vibe, and it'll be a surprising aha moment or a reveal again about your 12th house. So, whatever it is, it's going to be surprising and it's going to be good, and you guys have to tell me what it is. Okay, if you found this informative, Gemini, and entertaining, please do hit the like button. It really does help me, help boost my channel, and consider subscribing. Thank you again for listening, and I will talk to you in the next set of videos. Thank you, Geminis.